Mongoose 3.
There's no nobility in poverty. Famous Wolf of Wall Street quote, right? Here's how to be homeless without being a public nuisance. Number one, don't associate with other homeless people, especially if you're trying to get out of that situation, right? Most of these people, they've been there for quite a fucking while, and misery loves company. They're going to start getting in your ear like that little devil, right? They're going to start talking in your ear, saying all what you want to hear. Oh, it's not your fault, this and that. No, that's why they're where they are. Like, that's probably the last person you should be listening to when you're trying to better yourself and get out of a situation. There's absolutely nothing of value that these motherfuckers will tell you. So don't even bother getting to know them or bonding with them, because that's going to lead to a dark path, and most of these people deserve to be there. So don't associate with other people. It's not worth it. Stick to the type of people who sleep at night with a roof over their head. Number two, drugs. Slippery slope when you're homeless, especially if you're not following rule number one, because one, drugs are fucking expensive. And two, once you get addicted, you're going to prioritize that over anything. So don't even bother. Don't, when you have a little bit of money, then you can start doing the drugs. But when you're homeless, no, there's priorities in life. It's like going out and partying with your friends, right? Like, a financially responsible individual who has rent due tomorrow and they have just enough for rent, they're not going to go out spending their fucking money on going out with their friends, right? Because there's priorities in life. Yeah, some things are more enjoyable than others. You got to think about what you need to survive, especially if, you're in this situation, right? We all know early on in school, they go over needs and wants. And what are your three needs? Food, water, and shelter. That last one's a little debatable, but you do need shelter to a certain extent, right? If you are sleeping in a jungle where there's lions and shit, then yeah, you're probably not going to live very long. But regardless, in this day and age, sleeping on the street isn't going to kill you. With that being said, drugs are not a need. Drugs are a want. But you shouldn't even consider them a want, right? They shouldn't even be on the list of needs or wants. They should just be a thing that exists, that no matter how tempted you are, you don't touch. Number three, begging for money. Unless you're disabled, and I'm not talking about you get anxiety or whatever the fuck. I'm talking about if you're in a fucking wheelchair and you're homeless. Considering people live their day-to-day lives in wheelchairs, if you're saying you're disabled because you have a little bit of anxiety or you get sad every now and then, that's straight up stolen valor. Like, anybody that is physically able to work has no excuse to be begging for money, especially given the fact that I don't know what everyone else's values are, but at what point do you lose so much dignity that you're going to start writing down on a sign, struggling, anything helps? It's purely taking advantage of other people's kindness to make up for your shortcomings. And all it's going to do is hinder your ability to take accountability for the situation you're in. So start taking some responsibility and actually take control of your life instead of depending on others. Number four, tell people. Do not tell people that you're homeless. All that's going to get you is some sympathy points. If you manage to actually escape homelessness, then fair enough. Tell your story. That's fine. But if you're actively homeless, going around telling people you're homeless, that will not benefit you in any way at all. Oh, but when I apply for a job, they ask for my address. Guess what, buddy? Unless you were homeless your entire life, either put down your last known address or just find a crowded apartment building and just put the address of the apartment building with no apartment number. They're not going to ask fucking questions, especially if you're finding bottom of the barrel jobs, which you should be, because beggars can't be choosers. No one's going to fucking cross-check that. Guys, the job I just got hired at did a full background check that took like a week to get back, and not even one question was asked about my residence. So that's really not an excuse. Do not tell people you're homeless. All it's going to do is make you look bad. Number five, don't be stress eating. Guys, food costs money. It's not even about, oh, it's unhealthy. No, at this point, it's quite the opposite. If you spend all your money on fucking food, once that money runs out, guess what you won't have? You won't have food. You've got to ration. Like, imagine you were stranded on a desert island and the only food was a bunch of coconuts at the top of one coconut tree, right? You don't know how long you're gonna be there. So you're definitely not going to eat all the fucking coconuts on the first day, right? You're going to save them so you can live longer than you would have if you ate them all on the first day. You've got to be in a survival mindset right now. That can all be avoided by not stressing. And guys, I know it's hard. My stomach's growling right now. Like I'm living off a gallon of milk a day. And the thing about milk is it doesn't satisfy hunger. All it does is make your stomach feel full, but that hungry feeling doesn't go away. So in these situations, it's not about comfort, it's about survival. So do the right thing, ration your food, don't spend all your money, eating at McDonald's. Number 6, don't be getting governmental assistance unless you're disabled. And like I said before, like I'm talking like physically disabled, or you have kids that are relying on you. If you have kids that are relying on you, it's a lot easier to get off the streets. There's tons of governmental programs, and quite honestly, kids shouldn't be growing up like that. So those are really the only 2 caveats. But if you're alone and no one's relying on you, why the hell do you deserve governmental assistance for your shortcomings? All that's going to do is think that your situation is someone else's responsibility. And once you get into that mindset, it's hard to get out of it. And you're going to be stuck eating fucking soup out of a fucking can till you're 60. You need to get self-reliant as soon as possible. So don't even mess with that shit. It could be tempting. Yeah, you can get money from the government and do no work, but there's absolutely no nobility in that. And you got to think about when you're out of this situation, right? Do you want your story to be, oh, I'm out of this situation because of other people? Or do you want to say, I got out of this situation because of me? There's no reason a capable man or woman should be mooching off of the fucking government. So number 7, get a gym membership. It's so easy to let your life slip away and fall into bad habits when something shitty has happened to you, right? You need some sort of goals, some outlet. And guys, a lot of these commercial gyms that are all over the country are dirt fucking cheap. So just do yourself a favor, get a gym membership. And this also ties into my next point, right? So number 8, stay clean. Just because you're fucking homeless doesn't mean you have to be a little rat. If anything, you should be staying cleaner than you would have if you weren't homeless. And any 24/7 hour gym is going to have plenty of showers. They're going to have bathrooms. So there's really no excuse. Now, why is cleanliness so important? First and foremost, your health. If you're not staying clean, you can get skin conditions. The world's a nasty place. You don't want to get all these fucking skin conditions, and who knows what you're touching. Just stay clean. And I'm not even a germaphobe. I just think it's your responsibility as a human being to take care of yourself and not look all disheveled and smell like shit, right? That's going to be the biggest public nuisance when you walk into a goddamn gas station smelling like you just walked 10 miles to get there, right? So just do yourself and others a favor and stay clean. It's really not that hard. Number 9, and possibly the most important, get employment, right? This should not be a problem unless you're like a convicted felon, which, let's be honest, kind of sucks because felonies can range from, nonsense to murder. So it's kind of bullshit and unfortunate for those who didn't really do that much but got like a bottom of the barrel felony, right? It's just a bad mark on you as a person. And it sucks that employers put so much weight on that. But either way, you got to find employment, and it's still doable if you're a felon. You need income, and you're going to realize very quick how much easier it is to stockpile money when your expenses are so low because you're not paying rent. So in my case, I have a mountain of like $40,000 of debt I got to pay off. So basically my whole paycheck's going to that and feeding myself. So it's super important as soon as possible, just get a job. And you're going to find out if you're working full time and going to the gym, you're really not spending much time at home anyway. So if you're homeless, then essentially all the time you're spending on the streets is just sleeping, right? So get a job, get something to fill that time, because if you have nothing to fucking do all day, it's just gonna suck. And why not have something to do and get paid for it? So that brings me on to number 10. Be disciplined. Don't let your good habits and values slip just because you're in a bad situation, guys. And it's 10 times easier to just let that happen, especially when you're in a shitty situation like homelessness. But you got to be mentally strong enough to just hold yourself accountable. Just don't let your life slip away, because it's really not over. If anything, homelessness is just an inconvenience, right? You just don't have a roof over your head when you go to sleep at night. So just keep up good habits. If you're looking for a job, dedicate a huge chunk of your day to finding one. And if you have a job, get there early, give your all to the job so you can get promoted. Or if you're in performance-based pay, then you'll get paid more. So there's absolutely no downside to being disciplined, but it's really hard to keep up the mental strength to hold yourself accountable. Number 11, find alternative ways of making money. This is going to be for your security. In case you lose your job for whatever reason, you at least will still have money coming in, keeping you alive, right? It's like putting gas in your car. So just have alternative ways of making money that have quick turnover time. And number 12, acquire a car as soon as you can. It's so much easier being homeless in a car. I tried sleeping one night outside and I fell asleep on a fire ant pile, and that fucking sucked. So try and get a car. It's a lot easier. You can keep all your shit with you. If you don't have a car and you have, a bunch of stuff, get a storage container. They're super cheap. That way you can at least keep your clothes and stuff in there. You're not wearing the same fucking thing all the time. So that's really going to wrap it up. Moral of the story is, don't let a shitty situation define you. Carve your own fucking path. Don't wait for other people to help you. Do it yourself and take responsibility for your situation, because at the end of the day, for 99% of homeless people, it's their fault, right? There's very few people who, got placed into this position by other people, right? That just isn't a thing. Generally, if you go through their life story, you'll start to piece together all the life choices and shit that brought them to that position. So don't feel sympathy for them. They're there because of their own shortcomings. So best thing you can do is just stay mentally strong. Understand it's not over. The only thing in your life that you can control are the decisions you make. So take control of that. Don't let that control slip away, because then your whole life is uncontrollable. So that's really all for today. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.